real shit, chat. Man, yeah, I see what time it is. Oh man, look like old Vinnie Mac done got himself into some trouble. We're gonna check this one out. He better hope, man, his old lady don't leave him, boy. I'm gonna hit this like button. Let's get into this.
But let me tell you this. I am no pervert.
WWE
I am no
founder
pervert.
Vince McMahon.
He said, I am no pervert.
Under investigation by the feds for sex trafficking.
Women.
The bombshell report comes 1 week after a former
they're going after Vinnie Mac now.
And trafficked her. I'm Anjanette Levy. It's Friday, and this is Crime Fix. Vince McMahon has been under investigation for sex trafficking since 2022, according to a story in the Wall Street Journal. The journal cites people familiar with the investigation who've seen a grand jury subpoena that lists Janelle Grant, who sued McMahon last week, and at least 4 other women. Those women all entered into settlement agreements with McMahon. Grant's lawsuit claimed McMahon was supposed to pay her $3 million over a number of years, but only made the initial 2 payments totaling $1 million and then stopped paying. As I told you last Friday, Grant says McMahon had her take part in a threesome when she worked for him and that he defecated on her, but then instructed her to continue having sex with the third person.
Wait, y'all believe this? Y'all hear this? She said Vince McMahon made her have a 3-way and then shat it on her? Is that what millionaires do? They piss and shat on people? What the hell?
Grant also claims that McMahon and former WWE Vice President John
Laurinaitis
had sex
with her,
shit!
They got Johnny Laurinaitis in there. Oh man!
In his office, saying things like "no means yes" and "take it."
I enjoy destroying lives.
The Wall Street Journal says the feds seized McMahon's cell phone over the summer and subpoenaed any documents related to any allegation of rape, sex trafficking, sexual.
Oh shit, y'all! I wonder if that's why he sold the XFL to The Rock. Because Rock owned the XFL now. Rock's fucking full owner of the XFL.
Sexual assault, commercial sex transaction, harassment, or discrimination. Tim Jansen was an assistant U.S. attorney in Tampa and Tennessee. Tim, what are your first thoughts when you hear that McMahon is being investigated for sex trafficking?
Well, when I looked at the complaint and the allegations are disgusting, then I looked at his age and I was like, how in the world is he committing these allegations at his age? But more problematic is the position he had, how he groomed this person. She was in grief, lost her parents, and she was downtrodden. And then he gives her these, he coerces her with this offer. And then he gets to the point where she can't leave. She can't quit. He entices her with gifts, money, and then sells her like I mean, it was terrible. Like he owned her and forced her into sexual conduct. That's what's alleged in the complaint. Now, I see the federal authorities executed search warrants and a subpoena, which means that a federal judge has found probable cause that federal crimes have been committed.
So this has been going on, though. This
oh shit! Look like Vinnie Mac and old Johnny Laurinaitis, man. Done got theyself in a sticky situation here.
Investigation since 2022. That's what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. And the search warrant for the phone was executed last summer, along with he was served with a subpoena for documents about any of this stuff regarding settlements with sex involving women, things of that nature. So it's been a while, and we know that federal cases can take a while. If there is any there as far as federal charges go, if they've been investigating this since 2022, when will we find out whether or not he's going to be charged?
Well, as a federal prosecutor, it's easy for an individual victim, right? But they're seeing a pattern of conduct that goes back years. So they're probably tracing his phone, text messages, emails, building up a pattern of conduct to show maybe a RICO
Oh,
organization, a
sheesh.
racketeering charge, an ongoing criminal enterprise of
Bro, they about to try to hit Vinnie Mac with a RICO? Damn, bro. Vinnie Mac and Johnny Laurinaitis, boy, they about to.
commercial sex trafficking.
Woo!
So that's what may be taking time.
Vinny better
to
get
build
some of the
that
best
into
lawyers.
an indictment.
I want to take a minute to tell you all about an exciting new channel we just launched here at Law and Crime. It's Law and Crime Body Cam. This channel is devoted to authentic, raw footage captured directly on police body cams, which means you get to see what happens firsthand instead of directly on police body
see that,
cams,
chat?
which means you get to see what happens firsthand
Bro,
instead of hearing about it in court or cams.
Bro, did y'all see that, chat?
Authentic, raw
Look at
footage
this.
captured directly on police body cams, which means you get to see what
Did that fool jump? The damn tow truck went airborne, bro. This fool's sideways, bro. He didn't see that tow truck? He hit that jump. Boy, what the hell?
Happens firsthand instead of hearing about it
Man.
in court or from a police report. Law and Crime Body Cam puts you right in the middle of the action of high-stakes situations like car chases, DUIs, arrests, and all of the other crazy situations that police encounter daily. Check out the description of this video for a link to Body Cam, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new uploads.
Oh, you got it.
So this could take much longer, depending on how far back they go. And it sounds like they have at least 4 women, including Janelle Grant, who's suing him civilly. So if there are at least 4 that they're referring to in grand jury materials, when this gets out in the news, I'm assuming more, if they are more out there, might come forward.
Well, it takes time to get records, text messages, takes time to go through these subpoena documents. His lawyers may have asked for an extension of time to get the records. Some of these text messages in this lawsuit, very, very telling about the conduct, about the relationship. Those are all going to be put into an indictment. And remember, an indictment,
Bro, Linda might leave his
tight as you can, but also dirty the defendant up, because this person's got such a reputation and so much money that you're going to have to prove to a jury, listen, this is not just some rich guy who's perfect. We want you to see the real Vince McMahon. So they usually try to put everything they can as bad that they can prove in an indictment.
I want to
we're gonna have to keep. We're gonna have to.
You know, a lot of
we're gonna have to keep up on this case, chat. We definitely gonna have to keep up on this case.
people would look at the complaint that Janelle Grant signed, or in that she filed, and say, well, a lot of this to me sounds like it's consensual, and that she's upset that she didn't get the rest of the money that he promised, the remaining $2 million. So now she's filing a civil suit, but this sounds like she took part in some of this willingly. Mm-hmm. But you're saying the text messages suggest to you that there was trafficking. So how do you prove that as a prosecutor, that this wasn't a willing act? I mean, is it because she is his employee, and because there's some type of line that is supposed to be there, a professional relationship?
That's a very valid point. This is just allegations made in a civil complaint. And some of the conduct, you're like, why would the girl do this? Why wouldn't she just leave? How could she? And you have to go back to the relationship. And that's why they have laws against this, to protect people in vulnerable positions. I think we all agree she was in a vulnerable position at the company. She had no superiority. She relied on him for pay, for promotion. Look at all the benefits he gave her. Of course, he's having an affair, doing it outside of his marriage, but he's giving gifts $15,000 to department stores.
Yeah, Linda gonna leave
that leads you to believe that there was a improper relationship, that was not being paid on the books, and that he was trying.
I don't know. Allegedly,
now
maybe they just
a civil suit like this.
It's just all allegedly though, Jack. They could just be trying to get some money from Vinnie Mac and Johnny Laurinaitis. Who knows though? We still gonna keep an eye on this case though and see where it goes.
Can hurt a federal prosecution. It really does. You go back to a lot of these cases with athletes, like the Kobe Bryant case. She made an allegation against Kobe in the hotel room, and then a civil suit, and then the case was they dropped it. They didn't go forward. When the victim looks like she's trying to get money, she's subject to cross examination. Any good defense lawyer will show she's by greed. And then you have these, what you would have to say, some of them were consensual, or at least they voluntarily participated. It can be really hard to prove a case. And that's what the government may be going through is, was this consensual and she wants money, or was this really a rape and commercial sex trafficking?
Well, the Wall Street Journal is saying there are 4 other women apparently in the grand jury subpoena and the documents. So 4 other women, at least, are involved in this.
Right. So what that was in the federal
Man, it's
system,
crazy.
they could bring that in as what's called 404B evidence, similar evidence.
Man, he better make sure he had 1,000 phones. Most of them for business and the rest for the hoes. Make sure he ditched that bitch, boy. Make sure he ditched that one. Tell me it was just this one. I mean, Vince McMahon gotta have more than one phone, bro. Don't tell me he played himself like a sucker, bro. Using
Bad
man.
acts to show a pattern of conduct by Vince McMahon to show that he was a commercial sex trafficker. If they don't bring the actual charges, I don't know the statute of limitations on that and when those occurred, but they could certainly bring it as 404B, and that would be admissible. A judge could rule it under a 403 relevancy, prejudicial, and determine it's valid. Shows this pattern of conduct is consistent with which is being alleged by Ms. Grant, and that's hard evidence.
I think when a lot of people hear sex trafficking, they think a pimp, or some guy with girls, who are addicted to drugs, and he's running girls, he's running women, and he's doing horrible things. This is a guy who would tell you, Vince McMahon, that he's an entertainer. It is not my cup of tea. I've gone through all the videos on YouTube, and he says some pretty gross stuff in the ring when he's doing his shtick and his thing on WWE. This is a guy that runs $1 billion organization, or at least did, and created it. So how hard is that?
Yeah, I think
when you take
Stephanie and Triple H is running that shit. Triple H has been the COO for a minute. He's been the chief operator
like
for a
this
minute.
to federal court.
That's
He's I don't know what he would say if he's even charged. He's saying he's innocent and he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't commit any crimes, and he'll be exonerated.
Well, I hope he says that, because if he said something otherwise, they'd be using that against him. Most defendants, when they go to court after they're indicted or investigated, deny the allegations 100%. There's a lot of specifics in here, a lot of specific dates and times. And you wonder how the girl could recall these dates and times, right? It cuts both ways. Was she building up this to sue him later on?
probably.
Or was it because it was so traumatizing to her, she remembered what happened to her, like had to go to the doctor or something?
Probably so.
But there's great details in here.
Nobody knows.
He was flying in a partner from Colorado to engage in this sex acts. Laurinaitis, he's a defendant in here, John Laurinaitis. And he engaged in threesomes and stuff that she didn't want to do. And he's flying in for the purposes of commercial sex. That would give you jurisdiction also, federal jurisdiction. And then the payments were done by wires, right? They wired the money to her account, which gives the federal government jurisdiction. We normally think of sex trafficking as it's someone underage, or we think of bringing someone from outside the country and taking their passport and making them work off their fees to get here, to get their passport back. That's what we look at human trafficking.
Yeah.
And that's the normal sense. But there are adults put in positions where they can be victims also. And I believe this complaint is alleging that. And laws were passed in 2002, I believe, to protect people from being sexually trafficked, even adults.
Laurinaitis' attorney told the Wall Street Journal that he too is a victim of Vince McMahon. Your thoughts on that?
What?
He says he
Come on, bro. Laurinaitis trying to throw Vinny under the bus, man. When he done came down and smacked some uglies.
he's a victim. That's
what
interesting.
he told his lawyer told the Wall Street Journal that.
Oh, that he was forced to engage in sexual activity.
He didn't say that. He just said that he's a victim as well.
That's an interesting defense. It does not sound like they have a joint defense agreement.
Yeah, for real.
His lawyer and the lawyer for Vince.
Do you see them? Do you see Vince McMahon getting charged, Tim? Do you think that that's where this is going? Because it sounds like somebody with the feds, more than likely, talked and leaked.
That motherfucker richer than half these rappers, man. He got some good ass lawyers.
Like
they probably give him a slap on the wrist.
Who was interviewed by the feds? So do you see Vince McMahon getting charged eventually?
You know, that's a possibility. Witnesses, when they go before the grand jury, are told not to talk about it. You can't stop them. It's hard to prove it. There are leaks. Vince McMahon's a very popular international figure. I can't tell you whether he's going to be charged, but you tell me that 4 witnesses went before the grand jury, 4 victims. They've got search warrants executed. They're getting subpoenaed documents. There clearly is an interest by the Justice, or the U.S. attorneys, I take it, in Connecticut. So they're going to make
Vinny and Laurinaitis might be going down.
In the federal system, you're a witness, you're a subject, or you're a target. A lot of people don't know, if you haven't been in a system, you don't know what those mean. Witness means you're a witness. Subject means they don't know yet what you are. Target means they have enough to indict you right now. And they're, by law, by the Attorney General manual, obligated to tell you if you are a target. Okay? So I don't know if Vince got a letter saying I'm a target or a subject. You're probably not a witness, but certainly a subject. But if he got a letter saying he's a target, which would be important to know, then he meets the definition. They have enough to charge him. If they got search warrants and warrants for his phone, they have probable cause. The judge found probable cause, which means they don't need much more. And then the U.S. attorney for the District of Connecticut, and I imagine the Assistant U.S. Attorney General would have to approve an indictment against a figure like Vince McMahon.
Well, Tim Jansen, thanks so much for coming on to talk with us. As always, we appreciate it.
Man, that's crazy, y'all. Allegedly, Mr. McMahon and old Johnny Laurinaitis was doing some, you know what I mean? But that's allegedly, y'all. We don't know. But I tell y'all one thing, though. We are going to keep up on that case. Man, y'all put y'all thoughts up in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think about this. I hit y'all on the next one.